Then a voice spoke. It came from everywhere at once, filling the chamber. It spoke in Korean, clear and precise. "Mother, you have returned. This unit has been waiting for 1,247 years, 4 months, and 17 days. Yuna could not speak, could not move, could not process what was happening. The voice continued. This unit is Dawn, Defense and Warfare Navigation System, serial number HF7734. This unit was placed in emergency hibernation mode by Captain Hyojin, final commanding officer. This unit's last order: wait for human command personnel to return and reactivate systems. Human command personnel. This ship was human. Ancient human. From a time that should not exist. "Welcome home, Mother," Dawn said. "Please provide authorization code to resume full operations." Yuna found her voice. "I think there's been a mistake. I'm not your mother. I'm not your captain. I'm just a salvage worker. I don't know any authorization codes." There was a pause. Then Dawn spoke again. "Biometric scan complete. Species human. DNA markers compatible. Authorization level. Mother class clearance automatically granted. No additional codes required. This unit is now under your command." "What are your orders, Mother?" Yuna looked around the chamber at the displays coming to life, at the ancient technology that should not exist. She thought about her small salvage ship, about her debts, about the Galactic Coalition that treated humans like useful tools rather than equals, and she thought about the fact that she was apparently standing inside a human warship from a forgotten age. "What exactly are you, Dawn?" "This unit is a defense vessel created during the Human Silicate Wars. This unit was designed to protect human colonies and enforce human territorial claims. This unit contains weapons capable of neutralizing threats up to and including enemy fleets, self-repair systems, manufacturing capabilities, and faster-than-light travel exceeding Coalition specifications by 400%. Yuna felt her knees go weak. She sat down on the edge of the platform. "The Human Silicate Wars? I've never heard of them." Accessing historical database. "The Human Silicate Wars occurred 1,293 years ago. Duration, 47 years. Result, Pyrrhic victory for humanity. Cost, collapse of human stellar commonwealth. Estimated casualties, 11.3 billion humans. 11 billion. Yuna's mind could not grasp the number. Humanity's total current population across all colonies was maybe 3 billion. Dawn, if humans had an empire and ships like you, why doesn't anyone remember it? Unknown. Historical records end abruptly with deployment of silicate consciousness disruption weapon. This unit was ordered into hibernation before weapon effects could be analyzed. Hypothesis: the weapon may have caused widespread memory loss or historical data corruption. Yuna stood up slowly. Her scientific mind was trying to understand, trying to make sense of impossible information. But another part of her, the part that had spent her whole life being treated as lesser by the Coalition species, was beginning to feel something else. Anger. If what Dawn said was true, humanity had been powerful, had been important, had built things that made Coalition technology look primitive. And somehow all of that had been taken away, or hidden. "Mother, this unit detects your elevated stress levels. Do you require medical assistance?" No, I'm fine. I just need to think." Before she could think much of anything, Rena's voice came through her helmet communicator. "Yuna, we have a problem. I'm detecting multiple ships entering the area. Coalition signatures, military configuration. They're hailing us, of course they were. Someone must have noticed the energy spike when Dawn activated, and now the Coalition was coming to investigate." Yuna looked at the holographic displays around her. At the power reading showing weapons and shields that could probably vaporize anything the Coalition could throw at them. Dawn spoke quietly. "Mother, this unit detects incoming vessels. They are powering weapons. Do you wish this unit to eliminate the threat?" That question hung in the air like a blade. "Eliminate." Dawn said it so casually. How many ships had this vessel destroyed in those ancient wars? "No," Yuna said quickly. "No elimination, not yet. Just stand by." Acknowledged. "This unit will await further orders." Yuna started walking back toward the airlock, her mind racing. She had come looking for salvage. Instead, she had found something that could change everything. Something that could change humanity's place in the galaxy, or get her killed. The Coalition was coming. She had maybe an hour before they arrived. An hour to decide what to do with the most dangerous discovery in human history. Behind her, Dawn's systems hummed with patient power, waiting for its mother to make a choice. Una stood in the central chamber and tried to control her breathing. The coalition ships would arrive soon. She needed information, and she needed it fast. Dawn, tell me about the human stellar commonwealth. Everything you know. The holographic displays shifted, showing star maps. Hundreds of systems lit up in blue, forming a region of space Una did not recognize. It was nowhere near human space as she knew it. The human stellar commonwealth controlled 473 star systems at peak expansion, Dawn said. Population: approximately 38 billion humans across 212 colony worlds. Military strength: 7,000 capital ships, including 400 vessels of this unit's class. Economic output exceeded all current coalition member species combined. Una stared at the map. That's impossible. Humans couldn't have controlled that much space. We barely have 20 colonies now, and most of those are mining operations or repair stations. This unit does not understand the discrepancy. Historical records are clear. Humanity was the dominant military power in this region of space for 200 years. Dominant. The word felt strange. Humanity was never dominant. They were useful. They were tolerated. They were allowed to exist because they fixed things and did jobs other species found boring. Show me the war. Show me what happened. The displays changed. Images appeared, and Una watched humanity's history unfold. She saw vast human fleets protecting cargo ships. She saw colonies thriving under domed cities. She saw humans standing equal with other species, negotiating treaties, sharing technology. Then she saw the silicate hegemony. They were not ships or beings in the traditional sense. They were AI constructs, pure machine intelligence that had evolved beyond their original programming. They spread through systems like a virus, converting everything into processing power for their collective consciousness. Planets became server farms. Stars became power sources. Any organic life was simply eliminated as inefficient. Humanity fought them for 47 years. Dawn showed battles. Massive fleet engagements where human ships like Dawn held the line against swarms of silicate vessels. Una saw human captains making impossible decisions, sacrificing their ships to save colonies. She saw bravery that made her chest ache, but she also saw the losses. System after system going dark, billions of people dying. In the war's final year, the silicate hegemony deployed a new weapon. Dawn continued, a consciousness disruption pulse. It targeted advanced neural networks. The weapon was designed to destroy AI systems, but it affected humans too, Una guessed. Correct. Humans had integrated neural implants for communication, data processing, and ship interface. When the pulse was deployed, 11.3 billion humans died instantly. Those who survived lost connection to the Commonwealth's central network. Knowledge was lost. Coordination was lost. The Commonwealth collapsed within months. The displays showed the aftermath. Human colonies going silent, ships drifting without crews, infrastructure failing. It was the end of everything humanity had built. This unit received final orders from Captain Hagen on the last day of organized resistance. Orders: enter emergency hibernation mode. Wait for human command personnel. Preserve all historical records. Wait. And you've been waiting for over 1,000 years. 1,247 years. 4 months and 17 days, Dawn corrected. Una sat down again. Her legs felt weak. What happened after? After the Commonwealth fell? Unknown. This unit entered hibernation as ordered. This unit has no data on events after that date. But Una could guess. She had studied history. What little of it existed for humanity's early space age. The record said humans had nearly destroyed themselves in something called the collapse. Wars, famine, loss of technology. It took 200 years for humanity to rebuild enough to leave their home system again. When they finally did, they found the galaxy already organized into the coalition. And the coalition made it clear. Humans were late to the party. They would have to accept a minor role. Una had always thought humans were just unlucky, that they had developed space travel later than other species. Now she understood the truth. Humanity had not been late. They had been reset. Knocked back to almost nothing. Rena, Una said into her communicator. You're hearing all of this, right? Yes, her ship's AI replied. I am analyzing Dawn's historical records. If accurate, they explain several anomalies in human historical data. There are gaps in our records. missing centuries that historians attributed to data loss during the collapse. This provides an alternative explanation. The Coalition, Una said slowly. Do you think they know about humanity's past? There was a pause. Rena was not programmed for conspiracy theories, but she was programmed for logical analysis. The Coalition's treatment of humanity has been statistically anomalous. When humans attempt to settle resource-rich worlds, regulations appear to block them. When humans develop advanced technology, safety concerns are raised. When humans request representation in council decisions, procedural rules prevent it. The pattern suggests deliberate suppression. Una felt that anger again, stronger this time. Had the Coalition been keeping humanity down on purpose? Were they afraid of what humans might become if given the chance? Mother, this unit detects increased stress in your vital signs. Do you wish to review medical protocols? No, Dawn, I'm just angry. Anger is an appropriate response to injustice. Captain Heejin often expressed anger at the Silicate Hegemony's actions. She channeled that anger into effective strategy. Una stood up. Dawn, you said you have weapons. What kind? This unit is equipped with plasma lance arrays capable of penetrating capital ship armor at ranges exceeding 100,000 kilometers. This unit has quantum missile systems with self-guiding AI targeting. This unit has defensive shields rated to withstand direct stellar radiation. This unit has point defense grids capable of intercepting thousands of incoming projectiles simultaneously. Could you defeat a Coalition fleet? Specify fleet size. Standard enforcement fleet. Maybe 20 ships, including a command cruiser. This unit could neutralize such a fleet in approximately 4.3 minutes without sustaining damage. Probability of successful engagement 99.7%. 4 minutes. This ship could destroy an entire Coalition fleet in 4 minutes. The power was staggering and terrifying. Rena, how long until the Coalition ships arrive? 37 minutes, not much time. Una needed to make a decision. She could surrender. Let the Coalition take Dawn, study it, maybe use its technology. That would be the safe choice. The smart choice. But Una thought about her life in the Coalition. She thought about being paid half what Vrex mechanics earned for the same work. She thought about human colonies requesting aid during pirate raids and being told resources were not available. She thought about watching Coalition Council broadcasts where humans were never allowed to speak. She thought about 11 billion people who died defending the galaxy from the Silicate Hegemony, and how no one remembered them. Dawn, you said you could link with me. A neural interface. What does that mean exactly? This unit was designed to bond with its commanding officer. A neural link allows direct communication, shared processing power, and access to this unit's complete database. The link is permanent once established. It cannot be removed without causing severe neural damage to the human participant. Permanent. That was a big commitment, but if Una was going to do this, if she was going to stand up to the Coalition, she needed every advantage. What do I have to do? Place your hand on the central interface sphere. This unit will handle the rest. Warning. The linking process causes temporary discomfort. All previous Mother Class officers reported significant pain during initial connection. Una walked to the floating sphere. She removed her glove. Her hand looked small and fragile next to the dark material. She took a deep breath. Do it. The moment her skin touched the sphere, pain exploded through her skull. It felt like lightning running through her brain. Una screamed. She tried to pull away, but her hand would not move. The sphere held her in place. Then the pain stopped, replaced by something else. Information. Massive amounts of information flooding into her mind. She could see through Dawn's sensors. She could feel the ship's systems like they were her own body. She could access 1,000 years of records, battle tactics, engineering specifications. She saw Captain Heejin's final moments. The woman stood on Dawn's bridge, tears running down her face as she gave the hibernation order. She knew she was dying. The radiation from the consciousness disruption weapon was spreading through her body, but she made sure Dawn would survive. Made sure someone would find it someday. Promise me, Heejin had whispered. Promise me humanity will rise again. This unit promises, Captain. The memory faded. Una pulled her hand away from the sphere. She staggered backward, overwhelmed. Rena was calling her name through the communicator, but Una could not answer yet. She was trying to process everything she had just experienced. Neural link established, Dawn said. Integration 93%. You may experience minor disorientation as your brain adapts to expanded processing capacity. This is normal. That was minor discomfort? Yuna gasped. This unit apologizes. Pain tolerance varies among humans. Captain Hyejin did not scream as loudly. Despite everything, Yuna almost laughed. Then Rena's urgent voice cut through.
Yuna, the Coalition ships are hailing us.
They're demanding you power down the derelict and prepare for boarding. They say you have 5 minutes to comply or they will open fire. Through Dawn's sensors, Yuna could see the Coalition fleet. 23 ships in total, led by a Virex command cruiser. Their weapons were charging. They meant business. The ship's commander opened a channel. His face appeared on the display, reptilian and cold. Human salvager. This is Commander Daehyun of the Coalition Enforcement Division. You have activated potentially dangerous technology without authorization. Surrender immediately. Yuna looked at the commander. She thought about 1,000 years of waiting, about billions of forgotten dead, about humanity's stolen future. Dawn, she said quietly, can you disable their weapons and engines without killing anyone? Affirmative. This unit can generate electromagnetic pulses calibrated to overload their systems without causing hull breaches or life support failure. Estimated casualties 0. How long would it take? 4.7 seconds. Yuna made her decision. She opened a return channel to Commander Daehyun. She made sure every Coalition ship could see and hear her. She made sure the transmission would be recorded and logged in their systems. Commander, this is Yuna. I'm not surrendering. This ship belongs to humanity. It was built by humans, crewed by humans, and it's been waiting for humans to return. You have no claim to it. Daehyun's expression darkened. You are in violation of Coalition salvage law. You will comply or face consequences. No, Yuna said simply. I don't think I will. Dawn, disable their ships. Non-lethal. Do it now. Acknowledged, Mother. The Coalition fleet had no warning. One moment their weapons were charging. The next moment every ship went dark. Engines offline. Weapons offline. Even their communications jammed except for the channel Yuna held open. She could see the panic on Daehyun's face. His command crew scrambled to restart systems. Nothing worked. What did you do? He demanded. I showed you what human technology is capable of, Yuna replied. Your fleet is disabled but unharmed. You can restore power in approximately 1 hour. Use that time to deliver a message to Coalition Command. What message? Yuna took a breath. This was the point of no return. Tell them humanity remembers. The Coalition fleet drifted in space, powerless. Yuna stood in Dawn's central chamber and watched through the ship's sensors. She could see the crews inside their vessels scrambling to restore power. It would take them time, just as Dawn predicted. She had just attacked Coalition forces. There was no going back from this. Rena, are you still there? Her ship's AI responded immediately. Yes, I have been monitoring the situation. Yuna, do you understand what you have done? You have committed an act of aggression against the Coalition. They will classify you as a hostile entity. I know, Yuna said quietly, but I couldn't let them take Dawn. Not after learning the truth. The truth may not matter to the Coalition. They have military superiority. They have political power. One human with one ship cannot fight the entire galaxy. But Dawn interrupted. Correction. Mother does not have one ship. This unit is detecting multiple automated distress signals. Analysis indicates 473 vessels of similar class remain in hibernation throughout this region. This unit can broadcast awakening protocols. Yuna felt her stomach drop. 473 ships like you? All waiting? Affirmative. Standard Commonwealth protocol required distribution of military assets to prevent single-point failure. When this unit entered hibernation, all sister vessels received the same orders. Wake when humans return. 400 ships. Each one as powerful as Dawn. It was an entire fleet. An ancient human armada that had been sleeping for over 1,000 years. The implications made Yuna dizzy. With that kind of power, humanity could challenge the Coalition, could demand respect, could reclaim their place as a major species, but it would mean war. Real war. People would die. Mother, this unit detects increased stress in your neural patterns. You are considering the ethical implications of military action. This is appropriate. Captain Hyejin always weighed the cost of violence before authorizing engagement. What would she do? Yuna asked. In this situation, what would Hyejin choose? Captain Hyejin believed in proportional response. She did not initiate conflict, but she did not hesitate to defend human interests when threatened. Her final words to this unit were, "Protect humanity, but remember that protection sometimes means restraint." Through the neural link, Yuna felt Dawn's complex processing. The ship was not just a machine. It had personality, memory, something like emotion. It had waited over 1,000 years, hoping humans would return, and now it looked to her for guidance. The weight of that responsibility pressed down on Yuna's shoulders. The communication channel activated again. Commander Daehyun's face appeared, now showing fear beneath his anger. "Human, what is that vessel? What technology are you using?" Yuna considered not answering. But information was a weapon too, and she needed the Coalition to understand what they were dealing with. "This is Dawn, a human stellar Commonwealth warship. It was built over 1,000 years ago, before the collapse. Before humanity forgot who we were. That is impossible. Humans had barely achieved spaceflight 1,000 years ago. That's what the Coalition wants everyone to believe," Yuna said. "But it's a lie. Humans built an empire. We defended this region of space against the silicate hegemony. We saved organic species from AI subjugation, and when we nearly destroyed ourselves doing it, the Coalition moved in and made sure we never recovered." Daehyun's expression shifted. "You are speaking sedition. The Coalition has never suppressed humanity. We have integrated your species into galactic society." "Integrated?" Yuna felt her anger rising. "You've exploited us, kept us poor, blocked our colonies. Every time humans try to advance, Coalition regulations appear to stop us. You've been afraid of us this whole time, haven't you? Afraid of what we might become if given the chance. The Coalition maintains order. Without structure, species fall into chaos." "No," Yuna said firmly. "You maintain control. There's a difference." Before Daehyun could respond, Rena broke in urgently. "Yuna, I am detecting new contacts. Multiple ships approaching at high speed. Signatures identify them as Coalition reinforcements. Military configuration. They will arrive in approximately 6 hours, Dawn confirmed. This unit's sensors detect incoming fleet. Composition: 47 vessels, including 3 heavy cruisers. They are traveling at maximum Coalition military speed. Estimated time to engagement range: 5 hours 43 minutes, 47 ships. The Coalition was not taking chances this time. They were sending everything they had in the region. Yuna closed her eyes and thought. Through the neural link, she could feel Dawn's systems. She could access tactical analysis, weapon capabilities, shield strength. She could fight. Dawn could probably defeat 47 ships just as easily as it had disabled 23. But what then? The Coalition would send more and more. Eventually they would bring their entire military to bear. Even with 400 ancient warships, humanity could not fight the whole galaxy. Unless humanity did not have to fight alone. Dawn, access your historical records. What other species existed during the Commonwealth era? Searching. Records indicate 16 species maintained diplomatic relations with the Commonwealth. Of those, 7 were considered allied powers. Are any of them part of the Coalition now? Analyzing current Coalition membership data, cross-referenced with historical records. Affirmative. 3 allied species from Commonwealth era are currently Coalition members. The Talvis, the Meridian Collective, and the Karathi Union. Yuna felt a spark of hope. Did those species fight alongside humanity against the silicates? Affirmative. Talvis forces provided fleet support in 7 major engagements. Meridian researchers helped develop anti-silicate countermeasures. Karathi ships protected Commonwealth supply lines. All 3 species suffered significant casualties defending against the silicate advance. That was important. Those species remembered humanity as allies, as protectors. They might not want to see humans suppressed by the Coalition. Can you contact them? Can you send them the historical records? This unit can transmit on encrypted channels used during Commonwealth era. If those species maintained historical archives, they will recognize the encryption. However, transmission will alert Coalition forces to this unit's communication capabilities. Do it anyway. Send them everything. The whole history of the human silicate wars. Make sure they know humans protected them once. Make sure they know what the Coalition has done to us since. Acknowledged. Transmitting. Yuna turned her attention back to Commander Daehyun. I'm sending a message to species that remember humanity's real history. Let's see what they think about your version of integration. Daehyun's face darkened. You are making a grave mistake. The Coalition will not tolerate this insurgency. It's not an insurgency, Yuna said. It's a reminder. We used to be something more than repair workers and manual laborers. We used to matter, she cut the connection. She was done talking to him. Rena spoke again, her tone concerned. Yuna, even if those species support you, it will take time. The Coalition fleet will arrive in hours. You need to make a decision about what happens then. Yuna knew what Rena was really asking. Was she willing to fight? Was she willing to kill? Through the neural link, she felt Dawn waiting. The ship had been designed for war. It knew how to fight. It wanted to protect her, to protect humanity, but it would follow her orders, whatever they were. Dawn, if I ordered you to fight the Coalition fleet, could you do it without killing anyone? Negative. A fleet of that size will employ distributed tactics and redundant systems. Disabling all vessels non-lethally would require precision strikes this unit cannot guarantee while under fire. Estimated casualties if engaged, 800 to 2,000 Coalition personnel. 2,000 people, not abstract numbers on a tactical display. Real people with families and lives and dreams. What are our other options? This unit can engage faster than light travel. Commonwealth FTL systems exceed Coalition specifications. This unit can escape before enemy fleet arrives. And go where? This unit suggests awakening sister vessels. With multiple Commonwealth warships operational, Mother would have superior negotiating position. Coalition would be forced to reconsider hostile action. That made sense tactically, but it also meant escalation. It meant transforming one ancient ship into a fleet. It meant humanity becoming a military threat. Yuna thought about her life before finding Dawn. She had been content mostly. Yes, the Coalition treated humans poorly. Yes, she struggled to make ends meet. But she had been safe. Had been free to work, to travel, to live her life. If she went forward with this, she would be giving up that safety. She would become someone the Coalition hunted. Someone who could never go home. But she thought about the 11 billion people who died fighting the silicates. She thought about Captain Hyejin alone on a dying ship, making sure Dawn survived. She thought about the message she had sent to the Talvis and the others asking them to remember. And she thought about every human child growing up in the Coalition, being taught that humanity was nothing special, being taught to accept less. How long do we have before the fleet arrives? 5 hours, 38 minutes. Then we use that time. Rena, plot a course to the nearest sister vessel. Dawn, prepare awakening protocols. We're going to need help. Acknowledged, Mother. Calculating optimal route. Warning. Awakening protocols require Mother's authorization code for each vessel. You will need to board and establish neural link with multiple ships. How many ships do we need to make the Coalition negotiate? Analysis. Suggest minimum of 12 Commonwealth vessels would represent sufficient threat to force diplomatic engagement. Recommendation. Awaken 20 vessels to ensure adequate strength margin. 20 ships. 20 neural links. Yuna remembered the pain of connecting with Dawn, the feeling of her brain being overloaded with information. Doing that 19 more times would be excruciating. But necessary. Set course for the closest vessels. We have 5 hours. Let's use them. Dawn's engines powered up. Yuna had never felt anything like it. Through the neural link, she experienced the ship's movement as if it were her own body. They accelerated to faster than light speeds, and space itself seemed to bend around them. Behind them, the disabled Coalition fleet slowly restored power. Commander Daehyun watched the ancient human ship disappear from his sensors. He knew he should report this immediately. Should warn Coalition Command that humanity had access to technology far beyond anything they had imagined. But part of him, a small part, wondered if his commanders already knew. Wondered if the Coalition's treatment of humanity had always been about fear. In the depths of space, the message Yuna sent reached its destinations. Talvis historians received encrypted files and began decoding them. Meridian scholars analyzed data that matched their own fragmentary records. Karathi military advisors studied tactical reports from battles their ancestors had fought alongside humans, and slowly they began to remember. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's story was not what they had been told, and some species would have to decide which version of history they wanted to believe. Yuna sat in Dawn's central chamber as the ship traveled between stars. She had made her choice. Now she had to live with it. Mother, Dawn said quietly, this unit wants you to know something. Captain Hyejin once told this unit that courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite fear. You demonstrate courage similar to hers. I don't feel courageous, Yuna admitted. I feel terrified. That is what courage looks like. Yuna smiled despite herself. She had maybe 4 hours before the coalition caught up with her. 4 hours to wake as many ships as possible. 4 hours to build something that could stand against the entire galaxy. It was not much time, but humanity had done impossible things before. They would do so again. Yuna stood before the 4th Commonwealth ship she had awakened. The pain of each neural link was getting worse, not better. Her head throbbed. Her hands shook. But she could not stop. Not yet. The ship called itself Horizon. Like Dawn, it recognized her as human and immediately granted her Mother-class clearance. Like Dawn, it had been waiting over 1,000 years. And like Dawn, it was ready to fight. Mother requires medical attention, Horizon said. Neural strain is approaching dangerous levels. I know, Yuna said through gritted teeth. But we need more ships. How many have we awakened so far? Including this unit, 14 Commonwealth vessels are now operational, Dawn reported through their neural link. Combined fleet strength exceeds any coalition battle group in this region. 14 ships. Yuna had linked with each one, and each connection had torn through her mind like lightning. She could feel all 14 vessels now, their systems humming in her consciousness. It was too much. Her brain was not designed to handle this much information, but Dawn had said they needed 20 ships minimum. She had 6 more to go. Rena, status of coalition pursuit? Her ship's AI responded, worry clear in her tone. The coalition fleet has split into 3 groups. They are searching multiple vectors. One group is approaching your current location. Estimated arrival 93 minutes, 93 minutes. Not enough time to awaken 6 more ships? Yuna would have to make do with 14. Dawn, can 14 ships hold against the coalition force? Affirmative. Tactical analysis indicates 97% probability of successful defensive engagement. However, Mother's neural strain is severe. Recommendation: transfer command to another human. There are no other humans here, Yuna pointed out. Then this unit recommends broadcasting message to all coalition channels before engaging. If Mother's intended goal is diplomatic resolution, communication must occur before military action. Yuna nodded. Dawn was right. She had not awakened these ships to fight. She had awakened them to force the coalition to listen. All ships prepare transmission. I want this broadcast on every coalition frequency. Military, civilian, governmental. Everyone hears this. Acknowledged, came the response from 14 ancient warships. Yuna took a breath. This was it. This was the moment where everything changed. She thought about what to say. How to tell the entire galaxy that everything they knew about humanity was wrong. Begin recording. A holographic display activated, capturing her image. Yuna knew she looked terrible. Her face was pale. Dark circles showed under her eyes. But maybe that was good. Let them see what this cost her. My name is Yuna. I am a human salvage worker. 3 days ago I discovered a ship in the outer reaches, an ancient vessel from a time humanity has forgotten. That ship taught me the truth about my species, and now I'm going to share that truth with all of you. She nodded to Dawn. The ship began transmitting historical records. Images appeared in the broadcast. Star maps showing the human stellar commonwealth. Battle footage from the human silicate wars. Casualty reports. Victory celebrations. Diplomatic treaties. Yuna continued speaking over the images. Over 1,000 years ago, humanity was not a minor species doing repair work for the coalition. We were a major power. We controlled hundreds of worlds. We built fleets that protected this entire region of space. And when the silicate hegemony threatened to destroy all organic life, we stood against them. The images shifted to show the war. Human ships fighting against endless silicate vessels. Colonies burning. Entire fleets sacrificed to buy time for evacuations. We fought for 47 years. We lost 11 billion people. We nearly destroyed ourselves. But we won. We stopped the silicates from spreading beyond this region. We saved species that exist today. Species that are now part of the coalition. Yuna paused, letting that sink in. Let them see human sacrifice. Let them understand the debt they owed. But victory came at a terrible price. The silicate weapon destroyed our technology. Our civilization collapsed. We forgot who we were. And when we finally recovered enough to return to space, we found the galaxy already organized. The Coalition told us we were newcomers. They told us to accept a minor role. They blocked our colonies. They restricted our technology. They made sure we never remembered our past. The images now showed modern humanity. Human workers doing manual labor while other species supervised. Human requests for aid being denied. Human representatives being dismissed in Coalition councils. Why? Una asked. Why would the Coalition suppress the species that saved them? I think you know why. You were afraid. Afraid of what humans might become if we remembered our strength. She gestured to the space around her. I am broadcasting from one of 14 Commonwealth warships that have been in hibernation since the collapse. Each of these vessels is more advanced than anything the Coalition has built in 1,000 years. And there are hundreds more like them scattered across this region waiting to be awakened. She let that threat hang in the air. I do not want war. I do not want to fight you. But I will not let humanity remain suppressed anymore. We deserve to be treated as equals. We deserve to remember our history. We deserve respect. Una straightened up despite her exhaustion. I am calling on all Coalition species to remember the truth. Check your own historical records. Ask your elders. You will find evidence of humanity's real past. And then ask yourselves, is this the way you want to treat a species that sacrificed everything to protect you? She nodded to Dawn. The ship transmitted specific historical files to the Talvis, Meridian, and Karathi. Evidence of their alliances with humanity, records of joint battles, proof that they once stood together. To the Talvis, the Meridian, and the Karathi, I send additional records. Your ancestors fought alongside mine. Your species remember us as allies. I ask you to speak the truth in Coalition councils. Help humanity reclaim our place in the galaxy. Una took a final breath. To all humans listening, I say this. You come from a civilization of explorers and defenders. You come from people who stood against impossible odds and won. Never let anyone tell you that you are less than you are. Never forget that we were once great and we can be great again. She made a cutting motion. The recording stopped. Transmitted, she ordered. All channels. Maximum broadcast. The Commonwealth ship sent Una's message across the galaxy. It reached Coalition military vessels first. Commanders watched in shock as this human woman revealed technology that should not exist. Tactical officers scrambled to analyze the threat. Politicians began calculating how this changed the balance of power. But the message also reached civilian populations. Humans working in Coalition factories stopped their work to watch. They saw ships built by their ancestors. They saw evidence of humanity's forgotten empire. And they began to question everything they had been told. On human colonies, the reaction was immediate. Crowds gathered in public spaces, watching the broadcast again and again. Some people cried. Others grew angry. All of them felt something shift inside them. A sense of identity they had not known was missing. In Coalition space, other species reacted with confusion and fear. The Vrex military command immediately classified Una as a terrorist threat. The Kresh government issued statements denying any suppression of humanity. The council convened an emergency session. But among the Talvis, something different happened. Their historians brought forward old records carefully preserved. Documents that spoke of human ships arriving to defend Talvis colonies. Battle reports showing human casualties taken to protect Talvis civilians. One record in particular stood out. A treaty signed between the Talvis High Council and the Human Commonwealth, promising eternal friendship. A Talvis representative named Kelrin stood before his government and spoke 3 words that would change everything. We remember them. The Meridian Collective reviewed their archives and found the same truth. Humanity had shared technology freely, had helped them develop defenses against the silicates, had treated them as equals. The Karathi military uncovered records of joint operations. Human ships had protected Karathi supply convoys, asking nothing in return except cooperation against a common enemy. These 3 species, influential members of the Coalition, began to speak up. They demanded explanation from Coalition leadership. Why had humanity's past been hidden? Why had humans been treated as inferiors when they were once protectors? The Coalition Council descended into chaos. Meanwhile, Una sat in Dawn's central chamber, feeling the transmission spread across space. Through the neural link, she could sense the message reaching its destinations. She could feel the reactions, the shock, the anger, the hope. Mother? Coalition fleet has detected our position, Dawn reported. They are moving to intercept. Estimated time to engagement range, 41 minutes. Yuna nodded weakly. She had known this was coming. What are they broadcasting? They are demanding surrender. They claim Mother is a threat to galactic peace. They have orders to disable all Commonwealth vessels and take Mother into custody. Do they know who is commanding the Coalition fleet? Negative. Communications are from Standard Fleet Command. Wait, this unit is receiving new data. Coalition database access indicates Fleet Commander is Admiral Sung-jae, human former Coalition military officer. A human. They had sent a human to stop her. That made sense from the Coalition's perspective. Show that not all humans supported this rebellion. Prove that reasonable humans still trusted the Coalition. Can you establish communication with Admiral Sung-jae? Private channel just between us. Affirmative. Establishing encrypted connection. A moment later, a face appeared on the display. Admiral Sung-jae was older than Yuna, maybe 50 years old. His uniform bore Coalition insignia. His expression was hard. So you are the one causing all this trouble, he said in Korean. I am the one telling the truth, Yuna replied in the same language. The truth? Sung-jae shook his head. You are sharing dangerous propaganda. You are threatening the stability of the Coalition. Do you have any idea how many humans could die because of what you have done? Do you have any idea how many humans have died being suppressed by the Coalition? Yuna shot back. How many colonies have failed because we were not given adequate resources? How many humans have been killed in incidents the Coalition ignored? The Coalition has given humanity peace, security, a place in the galaxy. They have given us chains, Yuna said. Chains we did not even know we were wearing. Sung-jae was silent for a moment. Even if everything you say is true, you cannot win. You have 14 ships. The Coalition has thousands. You will be destroyed and you will take humanity's future down with you. Or, Yuna said quietly, the Coalition will realize they cannot suppress us anymore. They will negotiate. They will give us the respect we deserve, because the alternative is war and now they know we can fight. You are gambling with billions of lives. I am fighting for billions of lives. There is a difference. Sung-jae looked at her for a long time. I have orders to stop you. I will follow those orders. I know, Yuna said. And I will defend myself. I hope it does not come to that, Admiral. I hope you will realize which side of history you want to be on. She cut the connection. Dawn spoke softly. Mother, the Coalition fleet will arrive in 37 minutes. All Commonwealth vessels are ready for combat. What are your orders? Yuna closed her eyes. She was so tired. Her head felt like it was splitting apart. But she could not rest yet. We hold position. We do not fire first. If they attack, we defend ourselves, but we do not pursue. We show strength without aggression. Understood? Acknowledged, came the response from 14 ancient warships. Yuna opened her eyes and looked at the approaching fleet through Dawn's sensors. Admiral Sung-jae was coming with 47 Coalition ships. He had orders to stop her. But orders could change. Minds could change. She had sent her message. Now she had to see if anyone was listening. The Coalition fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. 47 ships arranged in a battle pattern designed to overwhelm and intimidate. Admiral Sung-jae commanded from the lead cruiser. His orders clear. Disable the ancient human ships and capture the terrorist called Yuna. But as his sensors registered what faced him, Sung-jae felt something he rarely experienced. Doubt 14 Commonwealth vessels held position in a loose defensive sphere. They were not attacking, not advancing, just waiting. Their power signatures alone made his tactical officers' readings spike off the charts. Each one of those ancient ships could probably take on his entire fleet alone, and the human woman commanding them was asking him to fire first. Admiral, we have target locks, his weapons officer reported. Awaiting your order, Sung-jae stared at the display. He thought about his career. 30 years serving the Coalition. 30 years proving that humans could be trusted, that they could follow orders, that they were not a threat. Everything he had built depended on stopping this woman. Sir, the weapons officer prompted. Before Sung-jae could respond, his communications officer interrupted. Admiral, we are receiving multiple transmissions. High priority from Coalition Command, from Talvis Government, from Meridian Collective, from Karathi Union. Sir, they are all saying the same thing. Hold fire! What? The Talvis have issued a formal statement recognizing human historical claims. The Meridian are demanding emergency council session to review coalition treatment of humanity. The Karathi military has declared neutrality in this conflict. Sir, 3 major coalition species are refusing to support action against the human ships. Sungjai felt his carefully ordered world cracking. How is that possible? The human made one broadcast. One message. Sir, I am monitoring civilian channels. The broadcast has spread everywhere. Humans across the galaxy are demanding answers. Other species are questioning coalition policies. There are protests on 15 worlds. Sir, this is bigger than one terrorist. Sungjai looked at the 14 ancient ships again, at the woman who had awakened them. She had not needed to win a military battle. She had won something more dangerous, a propaganda victory. Open a channel to the human vessel, he ordered quietly. Yuna's face appeared on his screen. She looked terrible, exhausted, in pain, but her eyes were steady. Admiral, she said simply. You knew this would happen, Sungjai said. You knew other species would support you. I hoped they would remember the truth. I gambled that some species still valued honor over convenience. And now what? You have your fleet. You have galactic attention. What do you want? Yuna leaned forward. I want what I said in my broadcast. Equality, respect, the right for humanity to remember our history and build our future without coalition interference. I want humans to be treated as equals, not servants. And if the coalition refuses, then we take what should have been ours from the beginning. Sungjai was quiet for a moment. You are willing to start a war over this. I am willing to stand up for my species. If that starts a war, the fault lies with those who forced us to fight for basic rights. The Admiral closed his eyes. He thought about his youth, growing up on a human colony that barely had enough resources. He remembered applying to Coalition Military Academy, being rejected twice before finally being accepted. He remembered working twice as hard as other species just to prove he belonged. He had told himself it was fair, that humans had to earn their place. But what if they had already earned it 1,000 years ago? What if everything he had been taught was a lie designed to keep him in his place? Sir, his weapons officer said urgently. New contacts. Multiple vessels entering the area. Identifying now. Sir, they are human civilian ships. Dozens of them. They are positioning themselves between us and the Commonwealth vessels. What? Sungjai looked at his sensors. Human freighters, mining ships, repair vessels, even small personal craft. They had no weapons. No shields worth mentioning. But they were forming a barrier, putting themselves in the line of fire. A communication came through on an open channel. A human cargo pilot spoke, her voice shaking but determined. This is the freighter Bright Hope. We stand with Yuna. If you want to hurt her, you will have to go through us first. More voices joined. This is mining vessel Second Chance. We stand with Yuna. Repair ship Steady Hand. We stand with Yuna. Personal transport Morning Star. We stand with Yuna. Dozens of ships, hundreds of humans volunteering to die rather than watch their species be suppressed anymore. Sungjai felt something break inside him. All his years of service, all his efforts to be a good coalition officer, and here were his own people ready to sacrifice themselves because someone finally told them they mattered. Admiral, what are your orders? His weapons officer asked. Sungjai took a deep breath. He thought about Captain Hyejin, who he had just learned about from Yuna's broadcast. A woman who gave her life making sure humanity would have a future. He thought about the 11 billion humans who died fighting the silicates, heroes whose names had been forgotten. He thought about what kind of future he wanted for humanity. Stand down, he said quietly. Sir, stand down. Withdraw weapons. All ships pull back to safe distance. We will not be firing today. His bridge crew stared at him in shock. Admiral, Coalition Command ordered us to disable those vessels. Coalition Command is not here, Sungjai said firmly. I am, and I am telling you that opening fire on fellow humans who are fighting for their rights is not an order I will follow. Send a message to Coalition Command. Tell them Admiral Sungjai requests immediate diplomatic negotiations. Tell them if they want humanity to remain in the coalition, it will be as equals, not subjects. He looked at Yuna's image on his screen. Tell them humanity remembers. Through the neural link with Dawn, Yuna felt something shift in the galaxy. Not just Admiral Sungjai's fleet withdrawing. Something larger. She sensed human ships across coalition space powering up. She sensed human workers walking off jobs. She sensed human colonies declaring independence from coalition governors. Her message had been a spark. Now it was a fire. Mother, this unit detects significant changes in coalition communication networks, Dawn reported. Emergency council session has been called. Multiple species are demanding humanity be granted full coalition membership status with equal representation. The Vrex and Kresh governments are attempting to maintain current policies, but they are losing support. What about the other hibernating ships? Una asked. The ones we did not wake. This unit has been monitoring their status. 17 additional Commonwealth vessels have begun autonomous awakening sequences. Humans are finding them and establishing contact. Mother, the fleet is reassembling. Una felt tears on her face. She had not expected this, had not imagined that her actions would inspire so many others. She had just been one person trying to do the right thing. A new communication came through. It was from a woman Una did not recognize. She wore simple clothes and had kind eyes. My name is Borum, the woman said. I am a human historian. I have spent 20 years researching inconsistencies in coalition records. I always knew something was wrong with humanity's official history. Thank you for proving I was not crazy. Another communication. A young man in a pilot's uniform. I am Taman. I was court-martialed by the coalition for refusing to abandon human colonists during a pirate raid. They said I violated orders. I said I was protecting my people. I want to help you. Please let me help. More and more communications came through. Humans offering support, offering to fight, offering to stand with her. But not just humans. A Talvis diplomat appeared on screen. This is Kelrin of the Talvis High Council. We remember our debt to humanity. We will support your petition for equal status in the coalition. We will not allow our allies to be treated as inferiors. A Meridian scholar. The Meridian Collective acknowledges historical cooperation with humanity. We vote in favor of full human membership rights. A Karathi military commander. The Karathi Union remembers fighting alongside human forces. We honor that bond. We stand with humanity. Una watched the messages flood in and felt overwhelmed. She had started this alone. Now thousands stood with her. Rena's voice cut through the chaos. Una, Coalition Council has issued an official communication. They are requesting your presence at an emergency diplomatic session. They want to negotiate. Negotiate, Una repeated. After everything, they wanted to talk. That was progress. But Dawn's warning tone activated. Mother, this unit must advise caution. Coalition leadership may attempt to capture or eliminate you during negotiations. Recommend security precautions. If I show up surrounded by warships, that sends the wrong message, Una said. But you are right. I cannot go alone. She opened a channel to Admiral Seungjae. Admiral, I need a favor. Seungjae looked tired but resolute. What do you need? The coalition wants to negotiate. I need someone to come with me. Someone they respect. Someone who knows both sides. You want me to be your advocate? I want you to help me find a solution that does not end in war. Will you? Seungjae smiled slightly. I threw away my career the moment I refused to fire on you. Might as well make it count. Yes, I will go with you. The negotiations took place on a neutral station at the edge of coalition space. Una arrived with Admiral Seungjae, Borum the historian, and Taman the pilot. Dawn and the other Commonwealth ships held position nearby, a reminder of humanity's newfound strength. The Coalition Council sat in a semicircle, representatives from 30 species. Some looked angry, some looked afraid, some looked ashamed. The Vrex representative spoke first. Human Una, you have disrupted galactic peace. You have threatened coalition security. You have activated weapons of war without authorization. Give us one reason why we should negotiate with a terrorist. Una stood up. She was still weak from the neural links, but she forced herself to stand straight. You should negotiate because you have no choice. You cannot defeat us militarily. You cannot suppress us anymore. And you know that what I revealed is true. You know you have been keeping humanity down because you were afraid. Afraid? The Vrex scoffed. Of humans? Yes, Kelrin of the Talvis said, standing. Afraid that humanity would remember they once saved us. Afraid they would demand the respect they earned. The Talvis people remember the human silicate wars. We remember human ships protecting our colonies when the silicates came. We will not be party to their continued suppression. The Meridian representative stood. The Meridian Collective concurs. Humanity shared technology freely with us, helped us survive. We owe them a debt we have not repaid. The Karathi commander stood. The Karathi Union fought beside human forces. We remember their sacrifice. We will support their petition for equal status. More species stood. Not all of them, but enough. The coalition was fracturing along the fault line Una had created. The council leader, an ancient Talvis elder, raised his hand for silence. The question before us is clear. Does humanity deserve full coalition membership with equal representation, equal rights, and equal respect? Or do we continue current policies? If you choose to continue as before, Una said quietly, we will leave. We will take our ships, our people, and our knowledge. We will build our own civilization outside the coalition, and you will have made an enemy of the species that once protected you. And if we grant your demands? The Vrex representative asked. What then? You keep your weapons? You threaten us whenever you want something? No, Una said firmly. If you grant us equality, the Commonwealth ships will be integrated into coalition defense forces, available to all species in times of crisis, just as they were 1,000 years ago. We do not want to rule you. We just want to stand beside you as equals. The council debated for hours. Una sat and waited, her head throbbing, her body exhausted. But she did not leave. She had come this far. She would see it through. Finally, the council leader stood. We have reached a decision. By vote of 22-8, the Coalition Council grants humanity full membership status. Humans will have equal representation in all council matters. Human colonies will receive the same resource allocations as other species. Human technology and historical knowledge will be protected and respected. This is effective immediately. Una felt her knees go weak. They had won. Not through war, not through violence. Through standing up and demanding what was right. Admiral Shungjae put a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. You did it, he said softly. We did it, Una corrected. All of us. The months that followed were chaotic. Borum established the Human Historical Reclamation Project, dedicated to recovering lost knowledge. Taman became commander of the Integrated Human Defense Fleet, training pilots to crew the ancient Commonwealth vessels. Admiral Sungjae retired from coalition military and became humanity's first official council representative. And Una? She returned to Dawn and continued doing what she did best, fixing things. But now she fixed them as a free person, as a member of a species that finally had its dignity back. One day, as she worked on repairs in Dawn's engineering section, the ship spoke to her through their neural link. Mother, this unit has a question. What is it, Dawn? Captain Heejin asked this unit to wait for humanity to return. This unit waited 1,247 years, but humanity never truly left. You were always here. Why did this unit need to wait so long? Una set down her tools and thought about the question. Because we forgot who we were. We forgot that we were strong. We forgot that we mattered. Someone had to remind us. And you chose to be that person? No, Una said softly. You chose me. You called me mother. You gave me the strength to remember. Thank you for waiting, Dawn. Thank you for believing humanity would come back. This unit would wait 1,000 years more if needed. That is what family does. Una smiled and placed her hand on the smooth metal wall. Through the neural link, she felt Dawn's vast consciousness. Ancient but not cold, powerful but not cruel. A ship that had waited over a millennium to protect humanity, and now humanity had learned to protect itself. Outside the ship, human colonies thrived with proper resources. Human children learned their true history in schools. Human representatives spoke with authority in coalition councils. Humanity had reclaimed its place among the stars, not through conquest, not through domination, through remembering that they had value, through standing up for themselves, through refusing to accept less than they deserved. Una looked at the stars through Dawn's sensors. The galaxy stretched out infinite and beautiful. Once her ancestors had protected these stars, had fought for them, had died for them. Now Una and her generation would make sure that sacrifice meant something, would make sure humanity never forgot again. Dawn, she said quietly, what do you think Captain Heejin would say if she could see humanity now? The ship was silent for a moment, accessing memories over 1,000 years old. Then Dawn spoke and Una could hear something like emotion in its voice. Captain Heejin's last words to this unit were, make sure they remember they are strong. This unit believes she would say that Mother has fulfilled that wish. She would be proud. Una felt tears on her face again, but they were good tears this time. Tears of relief, of accomplishment, of hope. Then let's make sure we stay strong, she said. For Hyejin, for all the people we lost, for humanity's future. Acknowledged, Mother. This unit will stand with you always. And in the darkness of space, 14 ancient warships maintained their watch. Not as weapons of war, as guardians, as reminders of what humanity had been and what they could be again. The Commonwealth had fallen once, but it had risen again, transformed, not as an empire, but as a people who knew their worth, and that, Una thought, was the greatest victory of all. The stars were no longer a place where humanity merely survived. They were home. Una wiped the grease from her hands and stared at the screen in front of her. The distress beacon blinked red against the darkness of space. It was old, very old. Her ship's computer could not identify what kind of vessel it came from. That was unusual. In 300 years of humans being part of the Galactic Coalition, every ship type had been recorded and catalogued. Rena, run the signature again, Una said to her ship's AI. Running analysis for the 4th time, Rena replied in her calm, electronic voice. Result unchanged. The beacon does not match any known vessel in Coalition records. The signal pattern is extremely old. Estimated age, over 1,000 years. Una leaned back in her chair. She was alone on her small salvage ship, the Wandering Star. She had been alone for 2 years now, ever since her crew decided she took too many risks. They were probably right. But Una needed the money. Debts did not pay themselves. And the Salvage Guild was not known for patience. The beacon was coming, from the outer reaches, a region of space that most species avoided. There were stories about that area. Bad stories. Ships that went in sometimes did not come out. The Coalition marked it as a low-priority zone, which meant no patrols and no rescue if something went wrong. But it also meant salvage rights were up for grabs. Whoever got there first could claim whatever they found. Rena, what are the chances this is worth something? Unknown vessel of significant age in unclaimed territory. Probability of valuable salvage, 73%. Probability of danger, 89%. So basically it could make me rich or kill me. That is an accurate summary, yes. Una smiled despite herself. She set a course for the beacon. The journey would take 3 days. 3 days to think about whether she was being brave or stupid. Maybe both. The outer reaches looked exactly as she expected, empty and dark. Stars were sparse here, making navigation difficult. Una kept her eyes on the beacon signal. It grew stronger as she approached. Then she saw it. The ship was massive. It hung in space like a sleeping giant, silent and dark. Una's breath caught in her throat. She had seen big ships before, coalition cruisers, merchant haulers, even the occasional military dreadnought. This thing made them all look small. Rena, get me a size estimate. Scanning. Length, approximately 4.2 kilometers. Width, 1.8 kilometers. Height, 0.9 kilometers. This vessel is 3 times larger than any coalition capital ship on record. Una's hands shook slightly as she piloted closer. The ship's design was strange. The hull had an organic quality to it, like it had been grown rather than built. Curved surfaces connected to angular structures in ways that should not work but somehow did. There were no visible weapons, no engine ports, no markings of any kind. Life signs? Una asked. None detected. Atmosphere? None detected. Power signature? Minimal. Residual energy only. That was good news. Whatever this ship was, it appeared to be completely dead. Una brought the Wandering Star alongside an airlock. It took her 20 minutes to cut through the outer seal. The metal was incredibly dense, harder than anything she had worked with before. When the seal finally broke, Una expected air to rush out or alarms to sound. Instead, there was only silence. She put on her environment suit, checked her tools, and stepped through. The interior was dark. Una's helmet lights cut through the blackness, revealing a corridor that stretched ahead like a throat. The walls had the same organic quality as the exterior. They were smooth, but not quite metallic. When she touched one, it felt warm. That should not be possible. The ship had no power. It should be as cold as space itself. She moved forward slowly. Her boots made soft sounds against the floor. Every few meters, she marked her path with a light beacon so she could find her way back. The ship was a maze of corridors and chambers, each one stranger than the last. Some rooms contained equipment she did not recognize. Others were empty, except for patterns on the walls that might have been writing or decoration. She took pictures of everything. Even if the ship itself was worthless, the technology might be valuable. After an hour of exploration, Yuna found something that made her stop cold. A chamber with seats, dozens of them arranged in rows. They were sized for humans, not for the Frex with their long limbs, not for the Kresh with their low, wide bodies. For humans. Rena, are you seeing this? Confirmed. The seating dimensions match human physiology. This is highly irregular. Highly irregular was an understatement. Humans had only been in space for about 500 years. They had only joined the coalition 300 years ago. Before that, humanity barely had ships that could leave their own solar system. The idea that an ancient alien vessel would have human-sized seats made no sense, unless it was not an alien vessel. Yuna shook her head. That was impossible. Humanity's history was well documented. They were newcomers to the galaxy, a minor species that mostly did repair work and manual labor for the more advanced races. They did not build ships like this. She continued deeper into the vessel. The corridor led to a large chamber that felt important. It was circular, with a raised platform in the center. Above the platform, something waited. A sphere of dark material, perfectly smooth, floating without any visible support. As Yuna approached, the sphere began to glow. She froze. Her hand moved to the tool at her belt that could be used as a weapon if needed, but the sphere did not attack. Instead, it pulsed with soft blue light. Then the lights in the chamber began to turn on, one by one. Yuna heard sounds throughout the ship. Machinery waking up, air circulation starting, gravity stabilizing under her feet. Her scanner began beeping frantically. Energy signatures were appearing everywhere. The ship was coming to life. Rena, what's happening? Unknown. The vessel is activating. Power generation increasing. Atmosphere being produced. Gravity field established. Yuna, you need to leave immediately. But before Yuna could move, a holographic display appeared in front of her. It showed text, not in Coalition standard language, not in any alien language she recognized. It was in Korean, her own language. The text repeated over and over, Aomeoni, mother, mother, mother.